Hello everyone and welcome to the very first ever VideoAsk Voyagers. I'm Grace from the community team and I'm very excited to be here presenting the first ever episode of VideoAsk Voyagers, the first of many I do hope. We're going to be catching up each time with a different VideoAsk creator, learning how they're using the product and how they're implementing VideoAsk into their workflow. So for our first conversation, James and I caught up a couple of weeks back with very talented Justin Demers and Sarah Temte, founders of Wake Up to Freedom. So they're really kind of revolutionizing the way they are collecting testimonials and sharing that with their customers. So we were really intrigued to learn a little bit more about what they were doing. So what did we talk about? We caught up about the value of capturing customer stories throughout the customer journey, not just collecting them at the end of the experience. Choosing between VideoAsk and Typeform depending on your subject matter, how your customer language can inform your marketing and sales copy, the gift of going second, which is a really cool concept that Justin explained to us, and celebrating those customer wins. So without further ado, we're going to launch straight into the chat. Here's Sarah and Justin introducing themselves.
All right, well, I'm Sarah, one half of the Wake Up to Freedom founders team, and we help small business owners with really simple marketing tools. So we both have marketing backgrounds, video backgrounds. We know that a lot of business owners, marketing is kind of their least favorite part of the whole shebang. So we help people collect testimonials more easily. We help people launch really simple workshops and courses more easily. And the whole goal is just to kind of take those things off business owners' plates for them.
With the end goal of giving them more freedom in their lives. So, by the way, I'm Justin. I probably should have started with that. But yeah, the name of the company is called Wake Up to Freedom, and that's really what it's for us as the company, but it's also for our customers and clients. Is what if running a business actually gave you more freedom in your lives? What if running a business actually allowed you to go on unplanned trips or go on a fun road trip that just kind of came up, or get on a plane and go somewhere fun? And as business owners, it's we're really good at filling our calendars. And so what we try to do is kind of remove some of that for our customers.
Sound familiar? We were definitely intrigued, and we know that Justin and Sarah have recently launched a new course called Social Proof Magic, where they're kind of giving back everything they've learnt and talking through all their skills and tips and essentially letting you dive into their toolbox. So we wanted to hear a little bit about Social Proof Magic and how VideoAsk fits into that.
Yeah, so first of all, we're like a distributed team. So, since starting this business 3 years ago, like Sarah and I have not been in the same place physically. We've been on Zoom and like this. And that's the same thing with a lot of our customers. Actually, all of our customers, they're all over the world. And so people are finding out about us through paid media. They're finding out about us through referrals. They're finding out about us through search. And in almost all of those cases, except for referrals, but like for paid media and search, like there's zero trust. So why would anyone buy any of our products? And so for us, it's, we're not a fan of, promise-based marketing. Trust us, we have your best intentions at heart, or trust us, we're going to help you do this thing. Fingers crossed that the person you're trusting actually follows through on that promise. We're about results. We're about, hey, look, we've helped thousands of people do this thing. And if you're like one of those thousands of people, chances are we can help you do that. And so that's where social proof magic, that's where the importance of just social proof in general comes from for us. It's just like we're two randoms on the internet that you have no idea who we are, where we live, and we have this thing to sell you, and it works. But we can't twist your arm. We can't give you this like huge promise to buy it. It's like, well, let's just show you.
Yeah, and we launched Social Proof Magic because we were first trying to solve a problem in our own business. Like Justin said, we're a distributed team, and we love our clients. We love our customer results. We want to highlight those things, but we haven't had the option the last couple of years of saying, let's fly out to them and get video. let's get in a room together for an in-person event and capture a bunch of stories. And traditionally, the way that people get testimonials and collect client stories, if they're on opposite sides of the country or opposite sides of the world, is I'm going to send you a survey, or I'm going to send you a message saying, please give me a testimonial, or I'm going to give you a little script or a little prompt so you say exactly what I want you to say. And we just felt like that was so like gross and manipulative and didn't give our clients and customers like the personal feel that we wanted them to have. Like in our dream world, right, we would be in their living room saying, what did Wake Up to Freedom do for you? What has your story looked like? What has your business, how has your business changed because of our products? But that's not an option. And so we felt like VideoAsk gives us like this second best amazing way to practically be in the room with them. Like they get to see us on video, celebrating their story, asking about what's changed in their lives, getting the details on what they've accomplished. And they get that like human feel. So it doesn't feel like an awkward, scripted, pushy testimonial ask. And we walk away with a bunch of awesome testimonials. So that's kind of how we had solved the problem in our own business. And it ended up in us having literally thousands of social proof assets and stories within a year or so of launching our products. And we felt like it was time to start sharing what we were doing because we think it's pretty cool.
So it was so nice to hear that VideoAsk could help them solve this problem, being able to have an asynchronous conversation via VideoAsk, and now they're utilizing the tools within Social Proof Magic as well. And one of the questions we had for them was, we knew that they were using both VideoAsk and Typeform for testimonial collection. So a big question we had was why these products, and at what point do you decide I'm going to use VideoAsk or I'm going to use Typeform?
The name of the game here is like making it as easy as possible for your customers and clients to do. I mean, even if they have the best intentions, even if you have the best of intentions, like going back to the idea of like putting together a production crew, flying to someone's home, sitting them down, taking an entire day to capture their story. It's like, yeah, best case scenario, but that's like a huge inconvenience for everybody. And so the part about VideoAsk specifically is like, it just makes it like there's no objection. There's no reason not to do it. There's no, this is complicated. There's no, this, I have to download something. There's no, oh, this is only for Apple users. I'm Android. I can't do this. There's no, I have to be a professional filmmaker to do it. Like there's literally there's no no's. And so then it comes down to like, actually, how do you create an environment where there's not only no no's, but there's like, heck yes. And so for us, that's like our magic. We're not the tech. We don't want to be the tech. We want to like have a conversation with people and make sure that they know that this is not like a manipulative process. Make sure that they know that like they're safe. Make sure that they know that how we're going to use this. Make sure that they know that they can just be themselves, imperfect and all. And so again, that's the big thing for us. I mean, there's other like video testimonial tools out there, but they're not designed to be like two-way conversations. They're not designed to be like, hey, this is me on camera. Look at me. I'm modeling what you can be, which is normal, vertical video, not fancy. A lot of them are like, here's a text prompt, and like, here's a upload your video, or here's what to say, like a script. And that kind of goes against everything that we do in our program and what we're about. And so for us, like, when, as Sarah said, when I must have been like VideoAsk customer number 2, because as soon as I saw it, I mean, you could probably go in my account and see. I was like, wait, what? This like someone built this, and then on top of that, like not only some like scrappy startup, like Typeform. So it's like, it's for us, it's like a like it's going to be a stout product, even though we were like one of the early adopters. And so, I mean, you guys have just made it better and better and better, but ultimately it's just a conversation. We can have a conversation. We can let people know what to expect. We can let people know how to, just be themselves on camera. And then on top of that, like there's just no reason not to. It's so simple for people.
And for Typeform, we love that gives us a text option. So for us, we think video is our favorite way to capture social proof, to show just normal humans sharing their story and sharing their experience with our products. Like, we love getting that on video. But we know certain people want to use the social proof and testimonial gathering processes that we use and recommend. And they're in a niche or an industry where their customers don't feel comfortable getting on camera, or there's a lot of privacy and anonymity concerns. And so we love having Typeform as an alternative that in certain industries makes the process of getting a testimonial or a story feel safer. Because for certain really sensitive or personal like niches, they don't want their face necessarily to be associated with their story. And so for as much as we love the power of VideoAsk, for certain niches like Typeform, you can do the exact same thing, the exact same process of getting a story in a testimonial, but capture it with text instead.
Yeah. It's funny because like as business owners, you're like, you guess the words that you think your potential customers are using or speaking in their head. Like you think, you know, they instead of saying grocery store, they say shopping center, or they say super center, or they say, it's like until you actually like get your customer stories and actually like understand the words that they're saying to describe their situation or the impact that you've had on them, it's like you're basically it's a guessing game. And so even having Typeform where there's no video, and even having it in such that there's an industry where you can't use someone's testimonial simply by capturing their story, you're also just getting their language. You're getting how they describe the situation. You're getting how they like their perspective and their experience. And so that's part of the whole social proof aspect is just like, how do you make it as inclusive as possible? How do you make it so that like literally every one of your customers, regardless of did they have a massive victory or did they have something that was like small, but a victory is still a victory. Do you have some customers who, from a technology standpoint, like they don't have strong enough internet to be on video? So how do you include them? From a security or safety, like, for us, it's always been about like just stories. How do we capture as many stories as possible? Because it's awesome for our customers and to be celebrated and recognized. And two, as business owners, it's like the actual words that our people are using.
So they're really covering all bases here, using both Typeform and VideoAsk. It's really cool to see kind of the inclusivity. And interesting to hear what Justin was saying about capturing language as well. And I know that he mentioned before about how they use the transcriptions feature of VideoAsk to put all of the transcriptions into a word cloud generator and then look at trends of what people are saying to help them with their marketing decisions. So now we're going to jump across. It's time for a demo from Justin and Sarah. Sarah's going to introduce it and we're going to have a look at one of the challenges that they created for people to take part in.
One of our beliefs about social proof and testimonials is that there's all different kinds of stories. You want to be able to share more than one kind of story in your marketing. There are stories that build trust. There are stories that go viral. There are testimonials that handle certain objections. There are testimonials that speak to specific use cases. So it's going to attract one segment of your audience, but not all segments of your audience. And so we've been using VideoAsk and Typeform in a dozen different ways inside of our business. And we're teaching those inside of Social Proof Magic because we know you don't just want one kind of story. I think people are familiar with, I want to get the 5-star review, or I want to get the big flashy case study of the huge result. But really, there's so much power in collecting different types of micro stories throughout the whole span of a customer journey. How does someone feel on day 1? What's the baby step that they take on day 5? How are they feeling after 30 days of using your product? And so we've been using Typeform and VideoAsk and basically installing them in different places of our customer journey to capture stories at all those different moments from all those different types of people. And now we're showing other business owners how to do it. So Justin, I feel like we should give people a little sneak peek of that.
So this is we hosted a challenge which is basically like help people do an activity over a set period of time. That's what it was. It's called the Launch a Challenge. And so someone registered, they paid their entrance fee to the challenge, and immediately, so literally I click the buy button and then it immediately takes them to this page. And this page is basically a confirmation. Here's what to do. And then looky right here, which is our friend, the old VideoAsk embedded. And if I click play, hey, it's Justin here. Now, before we let you in, we've got 3 quick questions we're going to ask you right here. As soon as you complete it, so it's basically like as soon as someone buys it, before we let them into the product, which technically they have, but before they get into the product, there's, hey, I've got 3 quick questions. And we're kind of setting the stage with step 1, so that people know that, hey, wait a minute, this isn't just like a one and done type thing. There's a couple of questions here. We're giving people the option for text and video. And I'm just going to quickly go to the actual video ask, the video ask itself, and you can see 397 interactions. So people buying the product. And then if I play one, this is from Rachel.
So Justin asked us why we were doing this Launch It Challenge, and I'm doing the Launch It Challenge because I am ready to finally monetize and get these little workshops up. I already have my back end offer, and I'm really hoping to really just help more people and scale up. So
even just that response, you're hearing certain words like monetize. That's not even a word Sarah and I have ever used. Like monetize your information or monetize your knowledge. Like, again, that's like just like this is something that Rachel used, and we could see a trend in it. Oh, these are, maybe there's a certain percentage of people who use that word monetize. The reason they signed up for the Launch It Challenge was they want to monetize their knowledge. So for this particular challenge, we had 3 questions, which is basically like, why did you sign up? What is it going to mean for your business to have the challenge completed? And then we did something super cool with this, which is pretend that you've completed the challenge, record yourself a message, kind of congratulating yourself. And we can talk a little bit about why we did that and what we did that in a little bit. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But again, so if I go back to this, like I'm just using my cell phone. I'm not using this fancy setup that I have right now. It's literally my cell phone. Again, I'm mirroring what I expect other people's experiences to be, and to show them that's okay, that lighting is kind of crappy. I've got a double chin. My audio doesn't sound great. Like, I don't care about any of this stuff. Like, I don't want people to look and think, oh, I've got to have Justin's studio lighting, or I've got to have great audio, or I've got to have makeup on, because people are literally buying a product and then immediately going to this request. So the chances of them having any of those things is like next to nothing.
Yeah. And we're capturing these stories here because, again, like I said, you want to capture multiple kinds of stories. We're absolutely going to be capturing stories along the way of what are the results that someone has during the challenge? What are the big wins they have? How many workshop tickets do they sell? All of those wins. But these day one stories give us tons of content and ideas that we can use in our marketing. It gets people used to doing video asks.
Ooh,
so
that was a good one.
It sets the precedent that one of the things we do in this community is we share our stories and we celebrate our actions and we like check in along the way. So people aren't like blindsided when at the last day of the challenge, we ask for their story again. And the final little like psychological nugget I'd love to share here is we think one of the biggest problems with the way most businesses ask for testimonials and capture stories is they capture them way after the excitement has gone down. So your customers and your clients have full, busy, complicated lives. They've got challenges and problems and distractions hitting them all the time. And so when they experience a win, when they're excited about signing up to work with you, when they take a action and get out of their comfort zone, that high doesn't last forever. Like, it's going to come down a little bit. They're going to get back into their normal life. They're going to normalize to that result. They're going to forget what it felt like in the moment. And so we use VideoAsk and Typeform in these very specific moments during our customer journey where we know people are excited. Like, they just signed up. They just committed to this challenge. They just said, I'm going to finally get my workshop launched and get paid for my content. And we want to capture their excitement and their commitment and their reasons for signing up in that moment. Because a week later, that same excitement might not be there. They've had other things happen in their life. They've had little bumps along the road. And so we love the way that VideoAsk, because it's asynchronous, we don't have to be on our computer on Zoom with them in that moment in order to capture their story. We just put that simple little video ask up there, and they get to share their excitement right at the moment that they're actually most excited.
Pretty cool, right? Really interesting to learn how they're tapping into those high points in the customer journey to get the best customer stories. We're going to loop back round to the Launch It Challenge again and learn a little bit more about what they were talking about with that last step and getting people to leave a message to themselves. But before we do, here's Justin with some more tips, more to do with kind of warming up your audience and this concept of the gift of going second.
One of our concepts is like the gift of going second, which is this idea of a lot of marketers use FOMO, like, hey, buy this because, like you're like if you don't, like you're gonna miss out. Well, you need this thing now. And that works, but what works better is humans that are driven by like our DNA and how we've survived for as long as we have is like, we look to others. Like, is that safe? Am I going to die? Am I going to lose status? Am I like this decision I'm about to make? Like, is this a good decision? And, the thing about this, we call this instant social proof. This is kind of like our instant social proof process, which is one of the toolkits inside of social proof magic. It's just this idea of like, there are for as many people that have clicked yes to buy your thing, there's a significantly larger percentage of people who are so close to clicking yes to buy your thing, but they just need that little gentle nudge to know that it's a good decision. And that buy that thing could just be sign up for your trial. Like, it doesn't actually have to be like a purchase. Like, we use instant social proof for freebies and free trials. It works the same way, which is just basically, here's a whole bunch of people who did say yes and why. Here's a whole bunch of people who may be like you, who may have the same demographics, who may be in the same experience, who may be in the same whatever. But like, here's a whole bunch of people who have said yes. So if you identify with any of them, all of a sudden you, as a human, feel safer. Thankfully, with FaceTime and like Facebook Lives and Instagram Lives, where like more people are becoming comfortable on videos, but for most people, it's still a very uncomfortable experience. It's not natural to have a camera on you, especially when you see yourself and then like you audit your performance and like, that's not natural. We don't go through our lives like seeing how we look. We just do the thing. And so by starting early and repeating the process, it becomes like this comfortable thing where it's like, yes, this is what Sarah and Justin do, but also this is what I do. Like, this is what the community does. This is what we do as a wake up to freedom thing. And it's amazing because we'll have people that come to this confirmation page and they'll either just do text because they're scared of video, or they'll skip it, which is fine. And then they'll come back and say, hey, can I go do that? Can I go do that thing with video? Like, or is there a way for me to go back and do that? And which is, I guess I could talk about the story afterwards, but it's that idea of once people realize it's safe, and once people realize that it's awesome, they're far more likely to do it. So you just kind of warm them up. And by the time they get to those later stage milestones, like Sarah said, it's like people are on board. They're excited. It's no longer a question of like if, but when.
So it's pretty inspiring stuff to hear. It's kind of this culture that they're creating where they're celebrating wins with their customers all the time. Now we're going to go back to the conversation and hear from Justin about Futurecast. So the final step in that video ask that we saw earlier, which was customers leaving a message for themselves. So we're going to hear how they kind of implemented that into their flow.
Going back to those 3 questions we asked for the challenge, it was like, why did you sign up? What is it going to mean for your business? And the last one was like Futurecast. So you completed this thing, celebrate. Like, what are you saying to yourself? So I just share again, how another little nugget. So the other thing that can happen for people is they do this thing and it just kind of like goes into the void of the internet and you don't really know, right? Like, did they get it? Was it good enough? Did I say something? So what we did is at the end of the challenge, for those who completed the challenge, we basically took that video file, sent it back to them as just like that little nugget of like, you did it. Here's your message to yourself that you did it. And then we had a little custom congratulatory message based on what they actually said. So again, going back to that, like, this is for a lot of people, this was their first interaction with Sarah and I in our company. So what do you think is going to happen the next time we ask them to do a video ask? Of course they're going to say yes, because the experience was great. We actually cared. We responded. We let them know that we like watched it and listened and it mattered.
So there we go. That's kind of like the full loop there of how they were using that video ask that they created for the Launch It Challenge, and really interesting to hear how they took that message as asking customers to leave their own congratulations message and then sent it back to them. So a really unique way of kind of tapping into a testimonial collection there. Before we finished the conversation, we we looped all the way back round, full circle, and Justin shared with us a little bit more about kind of how they are utilizing that feedback and then embedding it in landing pages so that they can show potential new customers this feedback and the results, the customer stories, as he was saying before, that kind of idea of seeing a human and identifying with somebody within that list of people that you think, oh, they did that, I could do that too. So they shared how that kind of looks on their landing pages, and then a few final words from Justin.
The actual individual videos are all below, which these are all VideoAsk videos.
Challenge that were so helpful to me started with the promise. We were given a pledge, and the most important part of that pledge was to avoid the temptation.
So these are all like basically pull a quote out, like handle a specific objection from this video, assume people aren't going to play it. And then for those that do play it, here's the full video of them doing it. So we basically have, I don't know, there's a lot of videos from people from this particular challenge.
Cool. And this is like a landing page that you use in.
Yeah, so whenever we do this challenge live, this is the landing page that we like drive traffic to.
Yeah. So this is the thing that ultimately led to this. So they would buy this offer and then they would go to this page. Mm-hmm. And these stories on this page are more after the fact. Like once people have, basically the people that completed the challenge, we're giving this is the last milestone in their journey there, which is like record your full story basically. Sarah and I are a fan of like doing things that aren't scalable. So in a world where people are trying to do scalable things and automate everything and grow to this huge, behemoth of a size, like we're all about like, what's the unscalable thing? What's the thing that we can do that like we can't do for 1,000 people, but we can do for 50 and just repeat that. And I think there's an opportunity that for anyone watching or listening to this, like there's an opportunity to think like, yes, I want, we have 10,000 social proof assets within our company. It's like, yes, that's awesome. But also, what are the unscalable things? What are the opportunities to like really let people know that like we care? What are the opportunities to like really let people know that we want to capture their story and share their story and celebrate them? So I'm hopeful that, yeah, if you were listening or watching this, that you have ideas, and I'm hoping that some of them are like, there's no way, and that you still find a way to make it happen, because almost always those are like the magic ones.
And there we go. That's the end of the conversation. It was just fantastic. It really was to talk to Justin and Sarah. Really inspiring stuff. So a massive thank you to both of them for taking the time to talk to myself and James, and let us share it with all of you. Hopefully it's been real good food for thought, and we'd love to hear your comments and feedback, so feel free to drop them in the comments. Don't forget to join us over on the community, where we've got tons more inspirational content on the go. As I said, this is the first ever VideoAsk Voyagers, but if you like this kind of thing, you might want to check out our Workspace Invaders series as well. And if you'd like to be in a future VideoAsk Voyagers, please do get in touch. We'd love to hear all about your use case. That's it for now. I'm sure we're going to be back again very soon, cruising across the galaxy looking for more VideoAsk stories. Thanks so much for joining.